You've been praying to a God you invented, and that God is keeping you from truth. For years, maybe decades, you've been searching, meditating, praying, reading scripture, asking the universe for signs, and still, that hollowness remains, that quiet desperation, that feeling that something essential is missing. What if the very act of searching is the problem? Jiddu Krishnamurti, one of the most uncompromising spiritual teachers of the 20th century, said something that might shatter everything you believe. Belief is the denial of truth. Belief is an obstacle to truth. To believe in God is not to find God. Neither the believer nor the non-believer will find God, because what you're searching for cannot be found by a mind that is searching. Today, we simply invite ourselves to rest and witness the silence that already is. This contemplation offers a quiet space to understand how to dissolve the seeker and return to your natural state. By the end, what you've been searching for might no longer feel separate from you. The man who is insecure, frightened, suffering, he projects an entity called God, to whom he prays for comfort. But this God is a projection of his own thought, the voice of his own desire. Think about it. When you were a child, afraid of the dark, you called for your parents. As an adult, afraid of death, loneliness, meaninglessness, you call for God. Same mechanism, same fear, different name. This God is not sacred. It's an invention of the human mind. The mind projects its own desires, fears, demands, and then flees from these projections, pursues them, or worships them. All of this is within the field of thought. Within the field of the known, you see someone you love, and immediately the mind says, "This is like that time when," or "I hope this doesn't become like." You're never actually with the person. You're with your memories, your projections, your fears about the future. The same thing happens with God. You have an idea of what God should be: loving, merciful, a father figure, a cosmic consciousness. Whatever the concept, it's still a concept, and a concept is not reality. Thought is always the past. The mind that is laden with the known is living in the past, and such a mind is incapable of understanding reality. Reality is this moment, this breath, this aliveness that needs no name, but the mind cannot grasp it, because what can be grasped is not real. What can be believed is not true. Pause here. Notice something. Millions believe in God. They pray. They build temples. They donate to charity. And yet, they also exploit, kill, divide, destroy. The rich man believes in God, exploits mercilessly, accumulates wealth, and then builds a church. The men who dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima said God was with them. Religious intolerance divides people into believers and infidels, leading to wars. So what is belief actually doing? Is it making people kinder, more awake, more loving? Or is it just another escape from facing what is? Krishnamurti asked, "Why do you need an incentive to live righteously? If you need the promise of heaven or the fear of hell to be decent, what does that say about your relationship with life? Your belief in God is actually spreading misery in the world." Hard to hear, but look at it. Really look. Your belief may have brought momentary comfort, but has it transformed you? Has it ended your anger, your jealousy, your endless craving, or has it just covered these things with a spiritual veneer? If belief in God were real, your face would radiate love, and you would not be destroying your fellow human beings. Reality is what you are, what you do, what you think, and your belief in God is merely an escape from your dull, stupid, and cruel life. Feel that. It's not about attacking your faith. It's about looking at the mechanism, the way the mind uses belief as a painkiller, as a distraction, as a postponement of real transformation. So then, what is reality? What is God? God is not the Word. The Word is not the thing. To know that which is immeasurable, beyond time, the mind must be free of time, free of all thought, all ideas about God. What do you actually know about God? Nothing. What you know are only words, experiences of others, vague moments. That is not God. That is not reality. To know what is beyond time, you must understand thought, the process of becoming, accumulation of knowledge. The mind itself is that background, consciously and unconsciously. Therefore, the mind must be free of the known, completely silent, not forced, not made silent. The mind that achieves silence as a result of some practice or discipline, that is not a silent mind. You cannot practice your way to God. The one who is practicing is still the ego, still the seeker, still the known. It's like trying to see your own eyes without a mirror. The seeker cannot find itself because it is what it's looking for. True silence comes when the entire process of thought is understood. To understand the process is to end it, and the ending of thought is the beginning of silence. Only when the mind is in complete silence, not just on the surface, but deep down, only then can the unknown manifest. Silence is freedom from the past, from knowledge, from memory, both conscious and unconscious. Can you hear it? That silence beneath all the noise of your thoughts, not as something to achieve, not as something to practice, but as what remains when thought ceases its endless movement. The sacred of the present moment is not something you experience. The experiencer is the past. Therefore, what is experienced is not the sacred. The sacred can only happen when the experiencer does not exist. How does this apply to your life, to your daily anxiety, relationships, loneliness? Next time you feel empty, lost, afraid, notice the impulse to fill that emptiness, to pray, to scroll, to eat, to call someone, to do anything except be with what is. That impulse, that's the seeker. That's the ego looking for God, for peace, for relief. What if you didn't follow that impulse? What if you just sat with the emptiness, with the fear, with the not knowing, not to achieve anything, not to become enlightened, but simply because running hasn't worked? Virtue is facing the fact, what is, and to face the fact is a state of bliss. What is, right now, is enough. Even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's painful, even if it's boring, the moment you stop trying to escape it, something shifts. Not because you've achieved anything, but because you've stopped avoiding what already is. God, truth, or whatever you like to call it, is not something to be acquired, to be reached, to be found. If you knew what it was, you would have already created an image, and that image would be a projection of your own conditioning, desire, fear. The mind that is constantly seeking, reaching, striving, that mind will only find its own projection. The I that seeks God is running away from itself, and in that flight, it can invent all kinds of gods, temples, and rituals. But all of that is within the field of its own thought. Only when that I ceases, with all its desires, demands, fears, only then can there be that which is beyond the measure of thought. You can call it God, truth, beauty, love. The name doesn't matter. What matters is that the mind is in a completely different state, and only in that state is there perception of reality, the living present, which is truth itself. Only when the mind is completely silent, not made silent, can the timeless, the eternal, manifest. So here's the invitation: not to believe this, not to practice this, not to achieve this, but simply to see it. See the mechanism of your own mind. See how it projects, seeks, avoids. See how every belief is shelter from fear. See how every search is postponement of now. And in that seeing, not analyzing, not judging, just seeing, something naturally falls away. The seeker dissolves, and what remains has always been here. Here's my question for you. What have you been searching for your entire life? And what would happen if you stopped? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. If this touched something true in you, consider subscribing. Share this silence. Someone out there is still searching for what they already are. In that silence, there is no you being silent. There is only silence. Rest here. You are already home.